All right, y'all. I feel like most of us got the answers when I was looking around pretty quick. Here's what I'm looking for, and this is where it's going to take us to our lesson. I'm looking for this equation. $12 per ticket plus like a $2.50 fee totaled $62.50. Right? So even if you didn't like write this down, this is what you worked with. You subtracted $2.50 from both sides to get 12t equals 60 to get $5 per ticket. Right? But this right here is kind of what I want your eye to go to. We're going to use the same function for number 2, but instead of $62.50, what's the total? Oh, it's yeah, not price. Yep, how many tickets were bought? The price is
12 tickets.
$12 per ticket. 5 tickets bought. Thank you for pointing that out.
5 tickets. That's got to be a plus.
Okay, so what's the only thing that's going to change as we head to problem number 2?
This is going to equal 278.
The total is going to change. That's it, right? So for problem number 2, we got $12 per ticket plus a $2.50 fee equals $278.50. And again, we're going to subtract the $2.50 fee to see what's left. 276 divided by 12 means how many tickets were purchased? 23 tickets. Again, just the total is what changed. We used the same function. And you might be like, some of you are like, yeah, duh, I see it. But this is going to lead us into the big idea of our lesson today, or part of the big idea. So we're going to start with this potato launcher. We've seen this potato launcher before. But just looking at this function, who can tell me what they know about this potato launching? What do we know about our situation just by looking at the function, right?
It is shot from 64 feet in the air.
64 feet in the air, which, as I'm imagining shooting a potato, that seems nice.
Yeah.
Every time I've shot a potato, it's been from the ground. So maybe the tip of the launcher is a good 5 feet off the ground. 64 feet sounds a little extra exciting.
Pretty good launcher.
Yeah, what else do we know about this launch? Sean?
Gravity plays a role.
Gravity plays a role. We've seen that negative 16t squared before. And lastly, what else do we know about this launch? Yes?
The initial velocity is
80 feet per second is the initial velocity. So this thing is getting sent. All right? And so this potato's being shot. What you need to answer, just focus on problem number 1 for now, please, is given an equation that we could solve to find when it hits the ground. So again, focus on problem number 1 only. What would our equation be that we would then need to solve to see when it hits the ground? Here's the equation I would use. F of t is the function of time, which is when it hits the ground. So what's the height need to be? 0. So 0 height happens at these times. Okay?
60 or 64?
64. My bad. All right, now, your task next is to find when it does hit the ground using any method you have. So the methods we have are from factored form usually, or graphing technology. So what's the only method you're going to be able to use?
Algebruh.
Well, I would love to solve for t if I could, but I have 2 variables that can't be combined. Guess and check is it. That's the only tool in the tool belt currently. So that's what you got to do. Guess and check it. Before we do anything, I want to take a couple answers that we have out there. Who's got an answer they think they're close? Ryan?
5.7.
5 I heard a 7. What else we got out there?
5.8.
5.8.
6.5.
Okay. It's going to be closest to one of those. But I'm going to show you a strategy you can use to make guessing and checking easier. One suggestion is, once you have the equation in your calculator, you can go back up to the equation and just change t. Okay? You just use the up arrows. On the calculators that are my classroom calculators, you have to like go up to it, hit enter to make it editable again. But watch something that we can use. I heard Ava say use Algebruh. There's something we can do to make this a little easier on ourselves. And maybe you noticed it or maybe you didn't, but all 3 terms have a common factor of 16. Anybody notice that? So I can factor out a 16 and which would leave me with a negative t squared. This is a plus, not an equal. Plus 5t plus 4. And then watch this. We can divide both sides by 16, which gives me 0 equals negative t squared plus 5t plus 4. And this right here is easier to guess and check with than this. Right? I found a common factor 16 that I factored out. Then I divided both sides by 16, which is, if you do it to one side, do it to the other. So this is equivalent by factoring. This is equivalent through division. It can just make it easier. Something I want to point out. All right? We're going to really get to the meat of what I need you to, like, big ideas in the next situation, which is a profit situation. We've seen a bunch of these in our quadratics unit. So we had these two expressions. Feel free to use whichever one you'd like. And it defines revenue a school earns from raffle tickets, right? So we've seen this with lots of stuff. If you charge too much, you sell not enough. If you don't charge enough, even if you sell a lot, it doesn't matter because they're not worth that much. So you need to get what prices the school collects $0 in revenue. And then this, just notice, this one says, how would you find? This one, problem 2 is not asking you to find the 2 ticket prices. It's asking you how. That's the focus. How. So, as I alluded to, with problem number 1, I would rock this form because it's when it equals 0. No guessing and checking needed. The price per ticket can either be $0 to earn $0, or it can be $40 to earn $0. All right? Factored form is our friend for number 1. Number 2 says, how would you do it? Well, if we need to set it equal to 500, I think guessing and checking from this version would be easier. Because factored form, getting these two things to multiply to be 500, not easier. Now, there are some things from standard form that we can do to make guessing and checking even easier. Anybody see that common factor? 5. I can divide everything by 5. Negative p squared plus 40p equals 100. Okay. That could make guessing and checking easier, right? There's things we can do to make life easier there. Did anybody find out what it was just for fun? The ticket price? What else? 37 what? Takes guessing. There's 2 answers here. Because $3?
I did not consider that. That was not
2.5-ish.
close.
I didn't do it because it just said how would you, so I actually didn't get answers to this one. But we would by taking our function and setting it equal to the total, just like the warm-up. We had 2 different total amounts. This time, the total is 0 and 500. Our warm-up was whatever it was, 67, 50, and whatever. But look to have different forms do different things for you. That's really the big picture of what I want you to do today. And know that sometimes we're going to have quadratics where we're not set equal to 0, we're set equal to something else. That's what we're going to be doing the next few classes and learning how to deal with that.